As the gang started squabbling, the teacher came over to play peacemaker, only to be exposed by Chris about his new job. The tiny team collapsed instantly, with life's troubles as stumbling blocks in the dream-chasing path. Who can rebuild their dreams? That's their toughest test. Late at night, the teacher gazed at the kids' precious moments, feeling a cocktail of emotions. Just then, the lady teacher, in a heartfelt talk, the teacher revealed his long-hidden grief. His 3-year-old daughter died in a car crash crossing the road with his wife, who was unharmed. Though he never blamed his wife, the incident became an invisible barrier, leading to their separation. Heartbroken, the teacher chose self-exile. It wasn't until he met these kids that he found his zest for life, realizing he couldn't let them down, even if the road ahead was filled with volcanic rock and fire. The following day, he gathered everyone together and said, "Hey, the reason for our relentless efforts night after night these past few days was to shine brilliantly in the competition, wasn't it? If we don't try, how many life chances remain?" Off they go. Mr. Dyke, downcast, embarks on an adventure with 4 undocumented teens. Along the way, they saw mountains and seas with endless possibilities ahead. Upon entering the arena, Chris had a bold idea. Losing in the high school division would be so embarrassing, but if we compete against the college teams, just beating one would make us celeb. Everyone instantly thought this idea was genius. After some major obstacles, they finally stepped into their dream arena. But just as the stinker suddenly went rogue. They scrambled to check and found it was leaking badly. Looks like that tiny den was a real troublemaker. It was only a millimeter or 2 wide, but fixing it wasn't going to be a quick fix. In a flurry of frustration, Alo popped up with a brilliant idea. "Hey, don't feminine hygiene products soak up water?" So she boldly dashed to the supermarket and bought a pack. After testing, one absorbed 8 ml water. Amazing. The box, now full of cotton, would last till the match's end. The next day, the underwater rowboat contest began, with elites from 32 top schools competing and 8 tasks in the pool. Total score, 100 points. Task scores counted for 70 points, and theory scores for 30. First up was Virginia Tech. They have 15 minutes to compete. Task 1's easy, but only 1 min. The robot hits, and the hatch opens. They easily snagged 5 points. Next, they had to pull a panel and use an underwater camera to record data, earning another 10 points. Then came task 3 with a sudden difficulty spike. Yet they calmly unhooked the rope, finishing the first 3 in 1:40. Everyone started feeling the heat, but just a moment later Virginia made an error and wrapped up with 80 points. Up next was Cornell University. They breezed through, smoothly triggering the switch in task 4, completing underwater lifting in task 5, and measuring temperature in tasks. They flawlessly completed the torpedo launch in level 7, but failed to reach the target in level 8 due to a short cable while collecting liquid. They stopped at 80, followed by 29 renowned universities like Stanford, Florida. All failed the last task, highest score just 65. Next, MIT, the reigning champs. As they appeared, they drew everyone's gaze. The big bad competitor was formidable, tech-loaded with a modular design. They became the fastest team to get through the competition, even using bidirectional lasers for the underwater challenge. They completed the first 7 tasks in 5 minutes, scoring 85 to claim first place. Seeing this, the teacher cheered everyone up. "Don't lose heart, we still have the oral test." The moment he spoke, confidence plummeted. When the big bad reached the hardest 8th level, they expected easy fluid collection. Who knew the thick cable would jam at the corner? After several failed attempts, the captain shook his head, with 6 minutes remaining. They chose to give up early, calling this level impossible, yet MIT remained at the top. Next up was this unassuming high school. When the host announced Call Hayden High School, the audience exchanged puzzled glances. Clearly, they had never heard of it, which only made the 3 operators even more anxious. They used up all time on the easiest level, losing 5 points. The host then started to criticize, "If you keep this up." Meanwhile, Oscar quickly rallied the troops. "No worries. It's just 5 points down. We've got 95 more to score." They adjusted their mindset and resumed competition, snagging a smooth 10 points on task 2. However, in the next task, their robotic arm was so lackluster that they dropped another 5 points, but they kept their cool. As the bell rang, they breezed through task 4, prompting the audience to erupt into thunderous applause. The applause fueled their spirits, and during the underwater measurement task, they had no fancy lasers, just good old-fashioned tape measure. They accidentally bumped into their equipment, causing a blip in the video, but luckily it came back quickly, scoring them 15 points. The temperature measurement in task 6 went off without a hitch, sparking yet another wave of cheers from the crowd. No one expected these high schoolers to show such great skills. They'd already scored 60 points. Next, they entered the 7th, color-confusing task. Due to budget constraints, they used black and white monitors, causing confusion. In chaos, they misjudged, losing 15 crucial points. Now, only the toughest 8th task, liquid retrieval, remained. This trap foiled all teams, but to fulfill dreams, they had no choice. As Stinker moved ahead, tension rose. Everyone was so tense, they could hardly breathe. Sure enough, they got stuck in the narrow passageway too. Thankfully, their cable was thin and long enough to manage. After a few adjustments, the Stinker successfully slipped through. That's the beauty of battery integration. The other teams were left shell-shocked. With the special tube inserted into the bottle, the balloon began to inflate slowly, and the cheers from the audience soared to the heavens. We carefully picked up the balloon's contents. Applause erupted. Subscribe and follow our exciting journey now.